Today we're going to be talking about what gear is worth rolling, gear guide, and all that stuff, and hopefully answering all your questions in terms of really what's worth rolling, how to decide, and decide if it's really worth keeping or not. So let's get right into it. So right off the bat, purple gear, in my opinion, also we are on the main account because it makes it much easier to talk about gear on the main account compared to the alt account, right? So in terms of gear, purple gear, I really don't recommend rolling it. The only time you ever want to roll with purple gear is if you are a new account or a new player, or if you are speed hunting. So if you don't know what speed hunting is, if it has speed on it, in my opinion, anything over at least 3 to 4 speed on it, roll it, right? If it has 1 or 2 speed on it, I don't really recommend rolling it unless it's an epic piece of gear. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So if it's purple, if it has speed on it, and if you care for speed, roll it. It's not bad. If you hit speed, good. If not, see this right here, +3, nothing. So you could sell it because it's a purple gear. Because purple gear means you only have 3 chances to hit the speed. And then at +12, you get a new substat. And then at +15, you'll pre-hit speed yet again to actually get, high speed gear on purple. Next, that's pretty much in discussion in terms of purple. Now, in terms of perfect substats. Now, right now on the screen, I'm going to be throwing up pieces of gear from my friends. So if you see any of these pieces of gear, they're highly worth rolling. Now, not every perfect combination is up on the screen right now, but what you do see is highly recommended to really roll. If you see it, roll it, regardless, in my opinion. It's really good, especially if it has a high equipment score. It's definitely worth rolling. Any equipment score, in my opinion, over at least 28, it's 100% worth rolling. Depends what the subs are, honestly. Again, if you do get lucky and hit one roll over and over and over, it does help. Anything lower than 28, you can still roll it, but it needs to have at least a perfect subs. Let me see. Can I find a piece of gear of my own? Right here is 23 equipment score. But guess what? It has effectiveness, HP, and a flat attack. But guess what? I can swap out the flat attack for something else. It has speed on it. So, again, like I did say earlier, in terms of purple gear, you're speed hunting, any epic gear that has speed on it, you would highly recommend to roll it to +6. Why at +6? Because at +6, then you can't really get over 20 speed. So let's see. Can we hit speed? If we hit speed, we're good. It didn't hit speed, it hit flat attack twice. The worst case scenario to hit. So, as it hit flat attack, the worst thing to possibly hit in this piece of gear, we're definitely going to sell it. Flat pieces, flat rolls in the gear is not bad. It just really depends on what the gear really is. Let me show you a piece of boots here that are perfect in terms of what is actually usable flat, especially when it comes to the left side. Actually, no, when it comes to the right side, the flats are better compared to the left side. So do keep that in mind. So this boot right here is absolutely perfect. It's on my Belion. It is a 65% HP boot, but with a flat HP and flat defense. The flat HP actually helps out tremendously if you are trying to get a lot more HP. Again, that's when flat rolls are good, specifically on the right side, because again, we have HP main, HP flat. That's perfect. That's really, really good. That's the only case scenario where it's really, really good. Same thing if you have attack percent boots with flat attack inside the boot. And then guess what? Boom. Very, very good. Same situation. Or, let me show you another piece of boot in terms of where flats are good as well. Now, again, on the left side, flats are a little bit more, it depends. It really does depend in that situation. So let's go here. Let's go to attack. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Attack. Boom. There you go. So, now, can I find a boot here? It's not locked anymore. It's on pause. So, this is a perfect DPS boot. 100% worth it. This is a full DPS, flat attack, crit damage, crit chance, and attack percent. Again, another time where it's good to have a flat roll. Again, the right side is very, very important when it comes to having flats, because it's not that bad, especially when it comes to maximizing 100%. Because some units don't need FRS, some units don't need effectiveness, like some units don't, or whatever other flat stuff you do have. Like a tank doesn't want flat attack, so you can swap out that flat attack for flat HP and flat defense. So hopefully you do get the gist of it. So that is the rundown in terms of flats. Flats are not the worst. They are worse, in my opinion, on the left side, so do keep that in mind. Again, sometimes it's not bad like this. Again, perfect boot, perfect helmet, full DPS, but preferably you do prefer speed and all that, alright? So again, we do have some wonky pieces here, but let me talk about in terms of Penta rolling, and if you keep rolling the same thing over and over and over and over. So, this is perfect. I just wrote this yesterday, so it is a crit chance neck, yes, but has speed on it, so I tested my luck. But I didn't hit the speed. So normally I would sell it because I don't really care for it. But I max rolled 2 rolls. If you don't know what that is, which means I got the highest percentage roll in one substat a couple times. So HP, I rolled HP. This is a Penta roll HP. It's a very low Penta. It really is a low Penta compared to something else I have. So it was 8% first roll plus 3. Another 8% at plus 6. And then after that, it kind of really low rolled. But it's still good nonetheless. So if you are able to high roll, I would highly recommend maxing it out. Some gears, if they high roll, they're actually usable. Like this piece right here, it's all HP, but since it high rolled, it's actually really, really good. I have another sword here. I got this yesterday as well. Now, this is a quad roll. Again, showing you that it goes into multiple runs. Quad rolls, penta rolls, triple rolls, and all that. This is a quad roll crit damage and 1 speed. Not the highest. It's really not that high because it's really low. I have a piece that rolled 3 times. It's higher than a quad roll. So it does really just depend on your luck. So again, a piece like this. Why did I roll it? HP is on a torrents piece. But well, guess what? Crit damage, crit set, speed, crit damage, and crit chance. Perfect subs. If I was able to dodge HP, perfect piece. I can swap out HP for attack, and guess what? We're good. Just like that. And that's exactly what happened. I dodged HP, we hit what we need to hit, and we got everything, which is absolutely perfect. So hopefully you do get the gist of that. There are some wonky pieces that you could roll if you really want to. Not ideal subs, but if it high rolls, why not? Why not test your luck and see if it goes? Again, it comes down to your charms and all that. I am very picky in my gear, so I do have a lot of gear laying around here that are pretty high rolled, or some gears I just yet to throw out. Yeah, I'm debating if I even want to roll it or not. But this is high rolled, 857, pretty good. 8% being a max on the 85. Low percent being a 4% for HP, defense, effectiveness, ER, and I think that's really about it. Because of crit chance, the lowest it could go is 3. I think, yeah, it should be 3. So, and then the highest would be 5, and then for speed, the lowest would be, it could go all the way to 1 if you get really unlucky. No, it would be starting at 2. Actually, it's 1 all the way to, for epic at least, it's going to start at 2. Max is going to be 5. They can start with base. So do keep that in mind. But again, if it high rolls, keep that in mind. So what else you can be seeing on the screen right now is going to be high gear score pieces. Again, this is all God pieces from my friends on the screen right now. Again, these are all from high rolling. If you high roll a lot, better the gear. Right, so let's go over here. Let me see. Can I show you a high gear score piece that I just rolled recently? Actually, make it easier. I just did. So basically, what you see in the thumbnail, I think it's going to be the thumbnail, I'm not too sure. It's going to be a torrent helm that is actually pretty good. That I just re-rolled because it wasn't that great when I first got it. Here, no, that's not that one, but there you go. Another piece that's high rolled. All high rolled. So guess what? High equipment score. High equipment score means higher gear. That's how good your piece is going to be. Here it is. So this is a perfect DPS helm. If it high rolls, it just makes your unit so much better. That's why people say sometimes you got gear gapped, because literally you got gear gapped because how much better their gear is. It does really matter in this game a lot, especially in PvP RTA, specifically RTA. You will see the big gap that we are currently talking about in terms of gear gap. So again, screen right now, screen about there will be all the high gear score pieces from my friends and all that. But hopefully you do get the gist of it in terms of the rundown, in terms of a gear guide. Hopefully it answered a lot of your questions. Now, in terms of sets, I really don't have a preference in terms of sets. If it rolls well, I will keep the gear. But preferably, speed is always good, torrent is always good, destruction is always good, HP is always good, defense is always good. A lot of sets are currently good in this game besides a couple. This set right here, Revenge, isn't that good. But besides Revenge, everything else is kind of good. Hit set is mainly for cleavers, if you were trying to max out your effectiveness. ER is good for mainly if you want to max out your ER, if you're an ER player. Again, it just really depends on your playstyle. If you're an ER player, tank down. If you're a cleaver, bruiser, aggro, aggressor, it really depends on how you actually play the game. But again, a lot of sets in this game are actually really good. But it just comes down to how you draft and all that. While yes, some pieces not may be ideal on the ideal set, but guess what? If it's usable, it's usable. That's what broken sets are for. But again, hopefully it answered all your questions in terms of everything. Oh, I think I answered everything in terms of what to roll, how to roll, if it's worth rolling or not. The only other times I don't really recommend rolling a gear if it really low rolls. So let's roll this real quick right here, right? So see, +3. If it lows roll, we're not gonna throw it away. 5%. That's a medium roll. That right there would get me to throw it away. Right, so we go +6. See, if we hit defense, good, I'll keep it again. We did it. That's a good roll. 7%, very high roll, high-end roll. I like that a lot. So we do keep that right there. So again, that's just how you get the gist of it. But if it lows rolls, if it really low rolls a lot, you really don't want it. So this sword right here is 62 equipment score at +12. It's already not good. Every single roll in here is a very low roll besides the crit damage roll. Actually, no. I think it's 2 crit damage rolls, 3% crit chance roll, and a 4% HP roll. And that right there kind of killed the piece a lot. If it has a really, really low GS score, I highly recommend throwing it away. This is 81, but again, keep in mind, like I did say, it just really depends on the subs. This is perfect for me. Yes, it's low GS score. I'll swap out this. I can maybe bring it up to a 97. It should be 97 after I swap out the HP for attack. It's low, but it's usable. Let's go over here, show equipment score, just to show you that equipment score it's not always about equipment score, right? So go down here, go to the lowest ones. Let's just show you some of my low equipment score pieces in the account, right? So 72, this is all attack. This piece is mainly attack. It's not the greatest. It's PvE gear. It's mainly PvE gear because of how it is, how it rolls and all that. But it's usable. If it's usable, that's good enough, right? This piece right here, 76 equipment score. But guess what? It's flat attack. So you have to really keep in mind, flats don't really go that well into equipment score. But if it's on a boot, it's absolutely perfect. Why? Because I have 65% attack. Now on top of it, I have 192 flat attack. I am trying to maximize my attack, and that is absolutely perfect. This boot again rolled perfectly for me. I just wish speed was actually think it rolled out perfectly. Yeah, it did roll out perfectly for me. But overall, 75 gear score. But again, flat attack and attack percentage. I think this equals out to maybe 30 to 40% attack. I think in total, this is what it equals out. Maybe a little bit 30-ish, around 30. But of course, if it was into the percentage, it would have been much higher. But still, it's a really good piece. Still, regardless of it being flat attacks and rolling flats, it's still usable. So do keep that in mind. Again, if you have any questions, let me know down below. Just because it's a low gear score does not mean it's technically the worst, right? Does not mean that at all. This piece right here, as you can tell, I have 1,173 HP with an 8% HP. Not the greatest, but it's still good. It really is fantastic because it's all HP. Now again, I will swap out this effectiveness for probably defense, and boom, there you go. It's a perfect tank piece. So do keep in mind. Again, I did say low gear score pieces are kind of iffy, but depending on what it is, it's still going to be good. This right here, yeah, okay, it's usable. It's on a process, usable, right? Swap out the crew test for defense. Boom, we're still good. But a lot of speed pieces in terms of speed hunting gear, like this 17s, whatever, 78. So again, it's whatever. It's all rolled to attack and crit damage and speed. Good, perfect, actually usable, right? If I can actually make use of the piece, I would highly recommend holding on to it and just using it. Unless you really need the charms and all that. That's the only other time I would come over here and clear out my gear if I need charms. Because a lot of gear in here is actually pretty bad. Like this boot right here you just saw, it's really bad. I'm not going to use it anytime soon. So I do plan to sell it, but again, just trying to get the point across. I have a lot of gear in here that's kind of low GS, but again, I'm just holding on to it for maybe that one day I need charms, or just because I might find some use of it one day. But again, probably not. But again, just be very careful and mindful with your low gear score pieces. Other than that, though, I'll see you guys later on. If you have any questions, let me know down below. I will gladly reply. It's Gear Guide again. Other than that, though, I will see you guys later on. Peace out.